Quick question. Does anyone have a buffet that you just feel nostalgia for from childhood? Me, I would love to say definitely Golden Corral, and I still want to go there to this day. Why? Because when I was in middle school and I was doing a softball tournament, I used to play softball. So when I went, I found out that they had cotton candy and anything I could think of was available to me. My life was forever changed by Golden Corral, and my Midwestern soul kicks in the second I see a buffet, all right? Well, hi everyone, it's Isabellamichellelanter here, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, we're talking about the Labubus. I know. So I have been itching to talk about this, and I had a few of you actually message me, put in the comments, DM me, etc., saying like, hey girl, I think you should talk about this. And I was like, oh yeah, we're talking about this. But the way I want to approach this conversation is I want to talk about it in just a general interest way. I want to talk about things that might be potentially problematic, some aspects that I think are really interesting, and overall like the just phenomenon of how these little dolls have just exploded on TikTok and just on the internet in general, and why people love them. So we're going to do a little deep dive on this wild obsession with these damn dolls. So before we hop into today's video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell button down below so you'll be notified of every single video I post. Definitely check out my second channel as well, where we have a bunch of lifestyle content and my podcast on there. And without further ado, let's get into it. So when I first saw Labubus, I was just doom scrolling one night, okay? It was like 2 a.m. I just popped my melatonin gummies and they weren't working, unfortunately. So I'm like, dead-eyeing it, scrolling, and then this weird looking doll pops up. I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, okay, interesting. Didn't think anything of it. And then because I engaged with one video the next morning, my feed was just flooded with this Labubu content. The Labubu, okay, what is this? It's essentially a cute little doll that has kind of blown up on social media to where people are now actively hunting for these things. So you guys remember when the absolute like Stanley Cup phenomenon happened and went down, where everyone was obsessing and like needed to get the brand new Stanley, the unique color, like they glorified it to a way where it was like turning into a collectible item, but people were buying it to such an extent. It was kind of nut. Like people were getting jumped in Target just to get a damn pink bottle. Yeah, well, Stanley 2.0, but with dolls. So yeah, we're unpacking this phenomenon, why I think like Gen Z and just anyone in general has been very, very obsessed with these dolls. So I know some of y'all are like, okay, but what is a Labubu, babe? So the best way I can describe it is a little doll that pretty much embodies the idea of ugly cute. You know what I mean? Like when you look at like someone's ratty, white, crusty dog, you're like, God, it's like so ugly, it's cute. Yes. Okay, that's kind of the vibe that I think these give me. Now, for any of you that are going to jump me in the comment section and say, then they're adorable, fuck off, okay? I don't want to hear anything. So I'm just on the Pop Mart website, and I want to give you guys a brief rundown of like the pricing and what we are looking at with all of this. For example, this is one that goes for about $43, another one that goes for like $84. I see one for $40. There's one that's $180. There's tons of other little details that you can get, like jewelry, you can get hand warmer, you can get a bunch of stuff that are like Labubu items. There's some of them that go up to like $300. So these dolls are pretty much a variety of unique looking pieces. According to some of my notes over here, the artist was Kaising Lung, a creator of Labubu, who he was born in Hong Kong and based in Belgium. This designer entered the world of designer toys in 2011 through collaborations with How To Work. So Labubus are essentially like a designer item in the doll collection world, which I don't know if y'all know anything about dolls and collectibles. They can go up very, very expensive. They're inspired by monsters from Eastern European and Nordic monsters from mythology. So I can kind of see like the appeal with it. Originally they launched back in 2015 and they weren't really like performing all like that, and then one time Lisa from Blackpink was seen with a Labubu, and then after that it started gaining a lot more traction, and now combined with celebrities that have them and then influencers also, that entire world essentially combined, and now we have this wild trend going on right now. And now people are developing collections of their Labubus to have in their house, but it's become a little bit more than just a collection. But a big aspect and important part about a lot of Labubus is they are sold in blind boxes, and this is where it kind of gets really interesting. You could go out of your way to buy a Labubu, but you can pull one and not get the one that you like. So the mystery on top of that is also simultaneously what is like fueling this obsession. So I don't know if you guys have, if some of you have been around, okay, I will actually point back to one of my old videos where I used to talk about the lucky scoops on TikTok, where they would do TikTok lives of a bunch of random items, and there would be the lucky scoops from crystals, makeup, jewelry, like anything, you name it. And that would be kind of like the fun online TikTok version of gambling, where people would just like spend $20 on a mystery scoop, $50, you name it, to get just a random package of a bunch of stuff. And I think we're kind of having that same exact phenomenon happening right now with Labubus or any other dolls that are in the designer doll world, if you see what I'm saying. So now let's talk about the blind buying, the FOMO of it all, and the serious need to buy some of these that has been generated on social media. So when we talk about blind boxes and opening them up, they kind of trigger the same vibe as like, with the claw machine, right? Where you go, you drop a bunch of money in there and you want to reach in and just see what fun you can get. And another reason why I think these new blind boxes and grab bags are so interesting is also because people just want to see it so badly. Because like, don't get me wrong, like I love seeing what people buy. I love hauls on TikTok. I love seeing what people get, what they do. I think it's interesting. It's even better when it's a mystery and no one knows what's going to go down. On top of that, when we have something that's so popular right now, social media has essentially funneled this absolute monster of Labubu dolls. I think additionally why this whole concept has blown up so much is due to influencers and social media, where people will literally buy these items and unbox them. And because no one knows what's going on and it's a trend to do it, I think more people are, especially now, more inclined to buy a doll like that than they were any other time. Like the marketing is essentially snowballed way more than I think people expected, but it wasn't even done by people who were paid to do it half the time. It was just people who bought it because it was interesting and popular, and then the popularity keeps growing. And I'm just saying, you get a big old dopamine hit when you unbox something that's really, really fun, just in general. But when it's a mystery thing and you don't know what kind you're gonna get and you're trying to collect specific Labubus from specific collections, yes, absolutely, it's gonna get addicting. And apparently it's even better when you're hunting for rare ones. I didn't know this for a while, but Labubus actually, there's some of them that are rare. There's a 1 out of 72 chance of actually getting it. I think it's like the chestnut brown one. I'm sorry, chestnut cocoa. What? My bad. So essentially you have like a 1.3% chance of you even get one of these little things in your hand, which is bonkers to me. But okay, but I kind of get it though. Like I kind of understand why people are locked into this. Now I want to make this really clear that I'm not trying to dog on people collecting, right? Like I want to make this very apparent that there's a very big difference between like collecting and overconsumption. However, I do think collections are sparked even more by social media, and some people who maybe aren't controlling their impulses or critically thinking about their purchases are buying something for content specifically, maybe buying a bunch for collections so that way they can show it off. Maybe it's kind of like another display of wealth. Some people may be just more inclined to create a collection, not because they love the idea, but because it's popular in the moment. And that's kind of what I'm trying to mention is like the line starts getting blurred of I like it versus I like it because someone else does. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm starting to think that some of the people purchasing this stuff, it's not actually about them liking it. It's a fact that they like the phenomenon of being like a part of something. And I think it's really interesting with social media too, is like we all find community in things. And I think the really good and bad aspect about social media is we connect over similar purchases. So when we're all purchasing something really similar, we all can relate and connect to it. And then we can laugh if we don't get the same thing and whatnot. So I don't want to label this as just an awful thing, but I do want to talk about how fascinating this is because it's wild to see the power of social media and how something so simple can be blown up into something so big where people are willingly dropping like $80 on a doll. So I do want to show you guys one example though. This is somebody who spent a shit ton of money on Labubus. So let's watch.
The secret one goes for $450 online. I spent $350 for this whole box, so I can be in the profits with this. This is some freaky one with the hair. Garbage. Number 2. And this one is not it. Same thing I did in my last video. I'm giving away every single one of these for free if they're not the secret. I need the secret. $450, baby. Can this be it? Definitely not. That one's for free. And if you're a grown man hitting about me opening some Labubu boxes, get a job, get a life, please. Can this be it? Mister. These are so freaky with the fuzz. Come on, baby. I know this can be it. My last box. No! I have 6 free Labubus. Just comment which color you want, and I'll be liking your comments. If your comment is liked, I need your address for the free Labubu. Good luck to everyone.
I get it. Like just watching that alone, that's interesting. That's addicting, right? Like you want to know what's going on. You want to know what they get. You want to know how much money they spent. Like it's very, very enticing. Of course, though, because some people like to take things a little too far and be a pain in the ass. Instead of just leaving people to just purchase the fun items, you know what else happens with these damn Labubus? They become so popular that resellers are now trying to put them up on Depop for a shit ton more money than what they're actually supposed to be going for. Like, for example, I'm just seeing one here that is being sold for $80. And these sellers will charge way higher because limited stock exists, which is crazy. So you like what? You go your way to buy a brand new one so it sells out so then you can sell it for more. So what? Are you getting like a $20 or $40 upcharge? That's crazy. I'm sorry, and hot take on this. I'm not going to say all resellers because I think some people who resell certain items and thrifting are doing it right. But for those of you, some of you little shitheads out there, for those of you assholes, buy a bunch of shit so it sells out and then sell it for like double or triple the price. Wet socks upon your feet. I hope your pillow is hot and moist, you sick bastard. Sorry. I don't like it. Anyways, so they go for a lot of money on here. But then on top of that, not only do we have people who are reselling these damn items, we also have people who will go out of their way to make fake ones. We've gotten to a point where Labubus have become so successful that people will make fake Labubus. Now we have to have an authentication process on a doll? Girl, what the heck? Like, this is kind of nuts.
My friend just told me there's a lot of fake Labubus, but she also said there's a way to tell if they're fake. You just need a UV light. And when you flash the UV light, there should be a little logo on the foot. Ready? Yeah! So this one is legit. This one. Yep, that checks out. The purple one. It's a different like shape, but it's still there. Try this one. No. Okay, hold on. Even though it doesn't have the logo, this is legit. This is real. Bought this off of the official Pop Mart TikTok shop, but it doesn't have the logo. This one doesn't have it either, but the brand legit sent this to me, so it's real. Let's try this one. Huh? This one released around the same time as the Have a Seat series, so maybe it's like a new thing. I wouldn't say this is a super reliable way to test if your Labubu is real. My best advice is to just stick to buying from the Pop Mart website, their TikTok shop, or shopping in person.
So the reason why I'm actually bringing up the resellers and the fakes is because I do think that this is actually a part of why this stuff has become so popular. Because if you see that there's resellers, right? If you see the chances of things being fake and you not being able to purchase it, now everyone's gonna go, well, shit, I need to buy this now then because I'm never gonna get this color again. I'm never gonna get this type. I'm not going to be a part of the hype. I'm not going to be a part of growing this collection. And then if I do want to buy it because I missed it, I'm going to have to go hunt through the resellers or the fake ones and try and see if I can find it and not get screwed over and scammed. So this also is developing where people are scamming individuals for Labubus. It's not like when you go on DHgate, for example, and you could buy a damn like a Louis Vuitton bag and it's like for $25. No, you're spending the same exact amount. You're just getting screwed for some bullshit. So this whole epidemic is literally generating new scams, which is just so like that's messed up. And for me, I love dolls. Like I do. I love Barbies. I honestly wish I could collect Barbies because I really do love Barbies. I think they're really wonderful. Things like that I understand. And I get why people want to collect these things, but the hype is so high. And like I said, people aren't just buying them for collections. They're also buying them as like fashion and statement pieces. So we don't just have people who are collecting them for like the doll and like, you know, feeding the inner child. We also have people that are like, I want this as a designer piece. And I also think that this is connected to how designer bags are being exposed right now. So if you guys can see these clips that I'm showing, these are Labubus involved with luxury. So we have like DIY fashion TikTok, we got miniature luxury outfits. We just have a bunch of fun ways that these Labubus are connected to fashion now. And it has become a fashion statement, especially with the uprise that we're seeing when it comes to like bag charms, which damn, those are cute. But bag charms, right? Now this is another way that people are accessorizing their bag. But I also think this is how we're further displaying wealth. So why I believe this is also in high demand is because I don't know if you guys are on TikTok or knew about this, but on TikTok, like I think maybe a few months ago, there was a bunch of people who are getting on TikTok and saying, hey, fun fact, those designer bags that you buy, actually you can get the exact same quality from China. Like you really can, because why? Apparently and allegedly, a lot of designer companies are actually getting their stuff completely made through China, and then they're bringing it over to wherever, and they're doing extra final touches. So you're dropping, for example, like 30 grand on a Birkin or even 15 when it's not even made for like $1,000. So with that, a lot of people were like, damn, really? Like, are these things actually worth it? And some people are having a lower perception on designer bags. For example, the Birkin, there's so many dupes of a Birkin bag now. I think a lot of people are starting to go like a drop in value of how people even perceive a Birkin, because a lot of people perceive Birkin as an expensive ass bag, like the bag, the designer bag that so many people are hunting for. So now with how people are kind of like having a different perception on designer bags, I think additionally, it's kind of adding to the value and significance of your visual wealth, if people give a shit about that, if you have a Labubu on there, because then it's like, oh, you have a bunch of little accessories added to your already expensive bag. So I think that's also why people are incentivized to buy it, because it's one other little reason of like, I have money. And now, please, no, I'm not saying this about everyone. I'm talking about there's some people in every single group who are going out of their way to get these things for status, is what I'm trying to say. And another thing that's interesting is these people will buy Labubus too and even dress them up and try and style them to look designer as well. So I want to show you a couple examples on the screen here. This is like another like subculture of dressing up Labubus, where they will try and make like faux Miu Miu outfits. There'll be like little yoga sets, sweaters that are designer, and they're not official pieces from like the designers, but they're still we're still trying to like miniaturize designer pieces onto these dolls. And it's really fascinating how a doll has turned into such a luxury item. And I believe, especially with these trends, we notice that it's not just about who has something cool, it's about who can create the most unique and best thing. I actually brought this up in a video about the skincare influencers and that whole idea. When people will make like clickbait skincare routines of like the 20-step skincare routine, it's not a round of like, oh, I have a good skincare routine. It's more focused on what can I do to have something bigger and better and create more of a shock factor. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing with these dolls, is some people are going to go like, oh yeah, I want to make something really cool, but how do I make it bigger and better than everyone else? So hence why we are seeing such a massive focus on people wanting to keep buying more, not because they genuinely want it, but because if this can blow up and go viral and you can have something interesting on your social media, if you know what I mean, it's like circling, like it's boosting the popularity here. And you could be known for making something really cool with a Labubu that no one else thought of.
Let's talk about something super cute, the Labubu bag charms. Just a quick note, this video is all about the charms and not the figurines or the dolls. Those will be covered another day. These adorable charms are sold by Pop Mart and feature characters from the Monster series created by the talented Ka-Sing Lung. Right now, there are 2 blind box series for these pendants, or as I like to call them, bag charms. First up, we have the exciting Macron series, aka version 1, which dropped on October 27th, 2023, so last year. This series includes 7 different colorful Labubu characters. We have soy milk, lychee berry, sea salt coconut, toffee, green grape, sesame bean, and the elusive chestnut cocoa. Because these are blind boxes, you have a 1 in 6 chance of pulling all the other colors except for the chestnut cocoa. This is what they call the secret, and you have 1 in 72 chances to pull it. But anyway, this series retails for $21.99, and I definitely think it's worth it, and probably my favorite out of the 2. Next, we have the Have a Seat series, or version 2, which launched on July 12th, 2024, so this year, and this set also features 7 colorful Labubu characters. We have Cece, Dada, QQ, ZZ, Baba, Hee, and of course, the rare or the secret Duo. And just like the first series, there is a 1 in 6 chance to pull all the others except for the Duo, which is the 1 in 72 chances.
Now I want to switch over the conversation though to identity and aesthetic, and identity and purchases specifically. So with this entire Labubu situation, I'm noticing that people are putting a lot of significance and weight. Not everyone, but I think a decent amount of people are putting significance and weight into their purchases. And I do believe that is a part of what is fueling some level of consumerism in a way that's a little bit too much. For example, some people with some of their collections and how some people are only posting up about Labubus right now, it's not really like long-term effective when it comes to social media or popularity, because like trends come and go. Again, for example, we aren't seeing people yap about Stanleys in the same degree as we were like last year. But I don't think Labubus are perceived as toys. I do think that they're perceived as something to show off so people can enamor and be like, you have that one, how did you get it? And for some people and creators, shopping is is their identity. So this is additionally something that's playing into that, especially whenever you see someone who's all about like purchasing things simply for the content, not necessarily because they really want it. Then you can see that people, whenever there is a trend, they're going to buy it regardless. And I do believe with social media, we're seeing a big shift in how people are perceiving their identities evolving with shopping. And Labubu is a part of this now, where people are focusing so much on buying just because it's a trend. And it's never enough. There's always something new. There's always something. Like one Labubu is not enough. A few aren't enough. It's like this need of I have to get them all, otherwise I haven't done it. There is like a little bit of FOMO and pressure created, especially if you are known for this as a content creator, because then it's not like you can just stop. Because people are expecting you. I mean, like realistically you can, but the internal fear of like, well, I have to do it. People want to see it from me. So people will go like out of their way to keep buying shit and trying to hunt for like the one, blowing a bunch of money on something. And then after that, what's left? Do they actually care about it? Or was it only cared about simply because it was for social media purposes to entertain a crowd for what, like a few months? That's it. And again, like we've witnessed this with the Stanleys. People were showing out their collections and all the stuff they were buying. And now no one really gives a as much. Like I absolutely think that Labubus are going to die off after a bit. It's going to be interesting and popular. I don't think it's going to be to the level that it is right now because we really plow through trends. Like also we absolutely do. So while yes, we see this rise in Labubus, I would bet my left titty that we're going to see like in the next 2 years, something else like this pop off again. You know, like the cycle is going to keep repeating. I also want to mention, I think we do have an issue with emotional spending and buying shit simply for a dopamine hit and for some level of escapism. And I am wondering if some of these purchasers who are buying Labubus and trying to post about it, if they are doing it because they need some kind of substance or something to feel good and it's feeding into a shopping addiction. Like take for example, this little like haul. She wanted to buy Labubu simply because everyone else was doing it.
I'm too easily influenced. Did I need this? No. No, I did actually. I went to Pop Mart in the city and I got myself one and my sister's one. Open it. Really don't mind, I think. I don't want to say which one I don't want because I don't want to put it out in the universe. But I think they're so ugly that it's cute. I did not need this at all. Yes, I did. It's so cute. Okay, no, I'm actually not gonna lie. I just really didn't want the pink one. I feel like it's not any of those. Or am I just stupid? I am stupid. It's the toffee one. Okay, bye.
And the reason why I want to point this out is because I would love to make a deep dive onto this. I really will. I'm hoping to make something around consumerism, shopping addiction, and like the anxiety of it all. I think everyone has coping mechanisms, and this is also falling into that where people feel anxious or uncomfortable and they want to go buy something. You know, like the idea of like, oh, let me buy a little sweet treat can start stepping into not just a sweet treat, but like, let me keep buying a bunch of shit to make myself feel better. And I think TikTok, in a way, has kind of fueled shopping to become a coping mechanism instead of something you actually do that could be like actually fun or wanting or substantial or something you need. And you know, the $40 little keychain makes you feel better. Some people just want to buy the damn thing just cause. But I think that this could also feed into a bigger problem and spiral into something even worse where you're dependent on a trend and something to keep you interested instead of actually finding what you truly like. So then people are blowing money on something that they don't really actually feel connected to or want when they could have quite literally put a little bit in savings, do something with fun, go buy a pizza, right? Do something that actually gonna make you feel fun instead of like, damn, I'm gonna go buy a doll that I don't give a shit about and then I'm gonna resell on Depop because I don't even want it anymore, you know? That's why I believe some of the community parts of TikTok are making people still wanna buy these Labubus because if everyone else is buying them, you're gonna be more inclined as a content creator to purchase them yourself, even if it doesn't necessarily matter to you or something that you really give a shit about. And if everyone else is doing it as well and maybe having success on social media, then somebody else might feel like doing the same thing and consider an investment when in reality, it's probably not going to be that same thing for you. And then we generate this idea that more equals to better when in reality, you don't need to be buying every damn drop of Labubu. You don't need to be going and trying to find the entire collection. Sometimes we could just be happy with buying a few things and letting it go. You know what I mean? Like we don't need to keep constantly buying this kind of stuff. So to wrap all this up, what do I think about Labubus? I think that this is just a big trend that has popped off that is kind of gonna follow the same line that we've seen with everyone else. Everyone's talking about it. A lot of content creators are specifically gonna mention it because it is popular, which makes so much sense for social media. So, I mean, I'm not dogging on that, but that will then influence other people to buy it. And depending on your situation, you either really, really want it and genuinely find joy in this and found your thing, or you're buying it simply because like, well, it's a fun little random thing, why not? And you don't actually find joy in this kind of stuff. So I think my moral of the story is, I don't think it's wrong to like Labubus. If you like it, good for you. Like if you're someone that's collecting, if you enjoy this, if this is like your new thing where, you know, you weren't like a Barbie's girl or a Bratz girl, but you like the slightly fucko dolls, I'm super happy for you. I just want to make sure that when people are looking into this stuff, that when we see a new trend, we take a step back, okay? We just take a moment and go, okay, do I really want this? Do I actually like it? Or am I doing this because it's popular right now? And one thing I really like doing, especially for people who are trying to save money, trying to be really good with things, I like to put in my notes app something that I like and then revisit it later on. And if I really didn't think about it or give a shit about it at all in like that month or few weeks, then it more than likely is not going to be something I genuinely want, you know? So I would just not impulse purchase or buy it simply because of the mystery box. There's a lot of things out there that are mystery boxes. And if you're going to do that, I would do it in a cheaper way. I just wouldn't go and drop like a tank of gas or two technically worth of dollar bills on a doll that you may not even like. Because at the end of the day too, you may be dropping $50, $80 or something on a mystery toy. And in all reality, you actually end up hating it. And then you're like, oh, the thing's ugly. Like, why did I buy it? And then it just becomes like a waste of money to you. It's not even worth it. So unless you have the bills to drop or you actually are like truly going to be happy with this purchase no matter what happens, I suggest just chilling out for a second, okay? But just think about your purchases. That's it. That's all I'm trying to say, okay? I'm not going to dog you. Whatever you want to do is whatever you want to do. I personally, if I see a special Barbie, I may go out of my way to buy some Barbies because I do love Barbies. I love Barbies. I think they're great. But just think about your purchases. Be careful of how TikTok influences you on some things, you know? And yeah, that just, again, we have been through this with the Stanleys and you know how that shit went, all right? I don't hear as much of hype anymore. And some of y'all have way too many Stanleys in your house that you don't even give a shit about. So that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought about that, how we feel about this entire conversation. And if do you have a Labubu? Let me know. Like if you have an actual connection or something you like about it, let me know. I'm quite interested in this. But yeah, I personally, not for me, you know, but hey, it's your cup of tea. There's something for everyone. Just don't like impulse purchase like when you're half asleep on melatonin gummies. Anyways, okay, mwah, mwah. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. And you know, I will see you in the next video. Bye.